Alright guys, part 6, really quick, we're going to talk about the neck. So, the neck is important in relation to the rest of the hip hinge because we need a strong foundation. So, steps 1 through 5 are really important, especially when we talked about the musculature here in the shoulders, getting the shoulders out of the place. In part 4, we talked about the posterior chain muscles, the multifidus being the big one. So your neck is actually part of your back. We tend to forget that, especially with deadlifters. You'll see they have a great hip hinge, but the neck does that. So we want to treat the neck as part of the spine with a lot of these exercises.
All right, guys, so we're gonna apply all 6 steps. So we're gonna do something with like a deadlift. This is just an example of how to do them. So we're gonna run through all 6 steps. And then, because it's not about the position we take, it's about how we progress into that position that's important. So step 1 is the arches, or the 3 points of contact we talked about in video 1. Big toe, pinky toe, weight in the heels. Second was loading the hamstrings, sucking that belly button in, but also lengthening. And then we're pulling those hips in. I guess I should get in a better position if I'm actually gonna do this, because I don't want to lose everything once I got it, right? That's the whole idea, to keep all the tension we're building up. So here, opening up the arms. Step 4 was loading the posterior chain, push everything back. Step 5 is the shoulders. Shoulders are really important with the deadlift because we don't want to round. We want to keep ourselves broad. Not where we're pinching back because we don't want to lock out what we've already gained. That's why we need to keep all that in, tight. Chest high, just like you're zipping. And think about the neck. This is the important thing for the neck, is the deadlift, because everyone wants to extend back when they go down and do it. So pretend like your neck is part of your spine, because it is part of your spine. Now, this is at an angle, so you don't want to do this at an angle like I'm doing. See how my head is back. I still have lots of tension on my hamstrings. My spine is relatively straight. And I don't pull my head back. I keep it in line with my body. All right. So I'm keeping the 3 points of contact, keeping all that weight in the hinge. And I'm trying not to let my head pull back. It does a little bit no matter what you do. The idea is that you're fighting against it. Keeping that bar close to your shins. Probably hold this like a man, not fingertips. That way, that'll really help. Because your head wants to go back to help make it easier on your back to get lower. Because then we get into this rounded posture like that, right? That's where most of you are right there. That neck, like you're always looking at yourself. Use your eyes, not your head. That'll really help your hips. Because then it forces your hip to do more, because it's not robbing Peter to pay Paul. So you can think of the 6 steps really like opening up. Yeah, we built it from the ground up, but as the hips pull down and up, the shoulders are doing the opposite. So occiput, skull is rising, tailbone is pulling the other way, just like we're pulling 2 ends of a rope. When our head comes back, we're pulling from the top of the rope and not the bottom. And some people have the opposite. For other issues, the hips go forward to try to get the head back. It's combining both together. That's the whole point of the 6 steps. And this is just an example. It's any exercise.
So once we get the hip into place, then we're thinking about the neck and lengthening it. And usually I say there's no magical exercise, but I'm going to give you some magical exercises today. Because the whole point of this series is to teach you to do what you're already doing better, especially movement, and as in life, getting too close. Life or size, exercising. So moving and walking should all be building you up, making your spine stronger, not breaking you down. That's all just how we do things. That's the whole point of these steps. So multifidus goes all the way to the neck, but there's some extra muscles here up top, deeper to everything else, that we call the suboccipital muscles. And they attach occiput, C1, C2, and what they do is they take the neck and they like to do this. And especially with me with glasses and computer screens, we're always doing that a little bit. We're getting in there, trying to see things because I'm blind, and some people have more problems with that, but that can control your posture. So if we have that extension of the neck, our hips tend to pull forward to level our eyes out a little bit. So we get those hips counteracting the extension there. And we can see that a lot on the table when I get a lot of you there. The heads drop back. Even if I'm pulling it, it's just so tight and locked up in this area. I'll even notice after we get massages, they're still bound up here, even though you've been working it, for a good 20 minutes. And even after the adjustment, if the muscles are so dominant, they'll just come right back sometimes if we don't strengthen the rest of the neck, strengthen the posterior. Now this is a silly exercise, but it actually really works well. So what I did is I put 10 pounds in this backpack, and all I do is sometimes I'll just, when I'm working on my computer or when I'm washing dishes, I'll put it right on my head. Kind of the strap in the front, because we want it pulling back at this angle. So I'm lifting up against it. So we're not compressing it there, we're actually driving up against that weight. And then you'll notice after about 2 minutes, you'll get really shaky, and that suboccipital area here will start to ache a little bit. But as soon as you take this weight off, and I know this is really silly, you'll feel a lot lighter. And some people even notice that their headaches disappear right away as soon as they start lifting up against that weight. You think about women in Africa with long, slender necks, they're always carrying things on their heads. And that can help your hip hinge too. You know, we start from the ground up, but really if we get the head right, a lot of times the hips will follow. You'll notice that it's hard to hold the bag here. You automatically want to pull your hips underneath you to stack yourself in a lengthened position to resist the weight that's coming down on your head. Now we did one exercise last time for the shoulders, and I'm going to go over again really quick. Hanging off the end of a bed. In this position. So the bed's pushing up on that rounded area, and then we're pulling our neck back. And all the other steps we added in, like the hip hinge, we're all adding here to lengthen our neck. Because that's going to make the exercise even stronger and even better. So you get that little shake at the end, and you'll feel that again too in your suboccipital area. And we've gone over that one. I know Daniel's talked about that one too. So I'll give you one little other step that's cool, because you don't really get the decompression there as much, and it's all in how you're doing it. So you can find a nice wall like this. Usually I'd say you want like a little cushion there, a little pillow, something to press against. Get your body right next to that wall. Right here. Little bend in the knees, and then you're just pressing up against that. Again, you want to open up the joints. So I'm pushing off my heels. We're even thinking about those hip hinging steps, steps 1 through 5, driving up. And the floor is going to work for you in this position because you're with gravity. So your rounded thoracic curve is getting flattened. If you notice your neck's like this, that's not good. You might want a little pillow or a folded towel to keep your neck level. All right, so there's some magic exercises for you. If we correct the suboccipital issue, the rest of the posture might fall in. So a lot of people actually are all locked up in here, and we're weaker down here. You'll notice that we're always tight here, and then we just do that naturally because we're weak. So we're strengthening the hip hinge with those steps 1 through 5, and then we're trying to take tension out of the neck, adding that at the top. Okay, that's it for step 6.